Welcome to Unbiased and On the Fence. Thank you so much for joining. I have Eileen Colts here with us, and we're doing the Power of 8 at 8. We're going to be talking a little bit about power of intention first. Before we get into the meditations, how are you doing today, Eileen?
I'm doing great, but I had a bit of an odd day. How about you?
Oh, was it? Well, just working on sounds and things like that. But other than that, it was pretty laid back.
It was really heavy. Like the air pressure was heavy, so I woke up with a headache. But I usually don't react to temperature and pressure changes. So I'm like, I wonder if the Schumann resonance has been spiking or anything, because it felt really heavy today.
Oh, I didn't even check it today. I did feel a little pressure today, though, and I noticed the clouds had those standing wave patterns in them again.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was waves. They were bigger ones going this direction and tiny ones
and then
going
little
this
ones.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that like HARP, or is that like the magnetic waves from the sun, since we don't have solar flares, you know?
Yeah, I'm right with you with that, because I wonder, is it man-made, is it artificial, or is this the cosmic waves that we're always talking about?
Exactly. The ascension waves, the spiritual evolution waves. I had some tech difficulties too, which is not unusual for me. I go to you. You're my tech man, right? I joined Lynne McTaggart's Power of 8 Master Class, the webinar today, and it's three 1.5 hour sessions live with her, with a bunch of other people, and a lot of handouts and exercises to kind of just like boost the knowledge and do it better. And, so I sent her the money. She's based in London, so the money went to London via my credit card, because I got a note from the credit card going, fraud alert, somebody in London is using your card. And then I downloaded Zoom. I don't know if anybody in the chat uses Zoom. That's all new to me.
Have you used
Zoom? Yeah, it's free. And then I put the little code in to join her class, her what do they call it? Room. I joined her room, and it said the room is full. Every time I went in all different ways, it always said there's more than there's 100 people in the room is full. So I contacted her by email and I said, what do you want to do? Are you going to run another one for the people who can't get in, or do you just want to refund our money, or do I just wait until you do another one? I just felt like she's always been plagued with technical difficulties. When she used to do the live streaming intention experiments with up to 15,000 people worldwide, her whole system would crash, because that's how many people would log on at once to do a group prayer or intention, and then the system would go down.
And then that's a lot of energy if you think about it.
Yeah, more people trying to do it than technology can really keep up with, I guess.
So what did they end up doing? I think I looked into Zoom before, and it was like you only get like an hour at a time, and then you have to pay for it, because I noticed like Leak Project and some of the other channels use Zoom. So I was going to try to use that instead of Hangouts, or because I knew a lot of QHHT practitioners also use it, and I was like, well, I'd rather have it ready to go if one of them have that instead. And because I've had to do Skype with like Allison Coe and with Everyday Master. Some people just use Skype, but some people use Zoom, so I was wanting to try to get it.
Oh yeah, and your Skype on that one interview from London really broke up a lot, didn't it? And I've got friends in England, because I used to live there, and it always kind of breaks up while I'm talking to them. I think Hangouts is a little bit better, isn't it?
I think was that Hangouts? I think that might have been Hangouts that was messing.
Was that Hangouts?
Yeah, and I we did it here when she was in Kansas, and it worked just great. So I don't know. I noticed that Leak Project, Rex will always mute for a second and then unmute it. And I think if she had muted it and unmuted it, it might have cleared it up. But I didn't think of that until after the show. So.
I have the same problem when I do video chatting overseas. It just breaks up a lot more than it does. And we're getting a lot of breakups on our communications right here in the States too. I think that's sun related. I think that's the magnetic energy.
Yeah, and then somebody brought up if they'd been wearing headphones, it would have been better, because the speaker was playing the sound of my voice, and then it was going right back into the microphone. And there should be like a muting mechanism in there where it cuts that out, but sometimes it just doesn't work right.
Gotcha. Yeah, like mine does now. As soon as I put my headphones in, there's no speaker, so I'm not like listening to myself.
Right.
So welcome to the Power of 8 at 8 Tech Show. You all wanted to hear about our technical problems.
The Power of 8 at 8 Geek Squad show, right?
I wish. I'm such a non-tech geek. It's not funny.
Yeah, and are you going to, we were discussing actually trying to do like a multi-stream. I'm actually streaming through multiple services right now. There's a service for that, but I don't know how to do it between separate YouTube accounts. There might be a service for that, but typically you have to give your password to someone, and nobody trusts giving their password out or whatever. Plus, I can only do one YouTube at a time, so I wouldn't be able to do that anyway, even if you did trust it,
I could take my daughter's laptop and I could put it on the side here, and then I could hit live stream, which I've never done. I don't know how to do that, but I saw Jen Gems. If you're in the room, I saw you do it, so you can tell me how to do it. And then I could live stream from like the side while I'm here on your show. But I'll leave that to the future. I'll leave that to a better day when I don't wake up with a headache and get kicked out of a live chat room.
And you know what? It just dawned on me. You're going to have the same problem I have with getting the sound to go back into it. Because typically when you screen share, it shows the screen, but not the sound. So you have to, so that's going to be another thing to tackle. So yeah, we need to do a practice one at some point that we can just delete and let everybody know, hey, we're just trying to figure this out for next week or whatever. So we'll figure it out though.
Someday.
Yeah, there's got to be a way to do it.
I've got a couple of paragraphs from the Power of 8 to share with everybody, because we kind of left off last week going, well, why does group meditation heal your body? When you get together with other people and you're in training your heart, your breathing, and your mind, why does that heal you? And there's a couple of paragraphs. Do you want me to read them now? Get them out of the way?
Yeah, that's real interesting.
So I've got two pairs of glasses on, I know. One to hold my hair back, because I have a haircut with long bangs, and you won't be able to see me if I take those off. Okay, so why we heal ourselves when we meditate together as a group and pray together to heal others. And it has to do with like those waves again, like the Schumann resonance you were talking about. Each type of meditation offers a workout for a different part of the brain and at different frequencies. For example, she says, focused attention and loving kindness meditation appears to activate very fast frequencies in the brain. And these are called the beta or beta 2, and they're 20 to 30 hertz. They also activate the highest frequencies in the brain, which is the gamma waves, and those are 30 to 50 hertz. And these tend to create a brain more accustomed to intense focus, which is another thing we do when we meditate together. We really focus, don't we? And then instead of when we meditate on our own and our minds just kind of wander off. Whereas mindfulness makes use of very slow brain waves. They're called the theta brain waves, and they're 5 to 8 hertz, so that the brain relaxes and becomes less concerned about reacting to what's going on in its environment. So when we do this, we actually change our brain waves. We change the speed of them. And the only other thing that I have for today, on page 193 of this book, Lynne McTaggart's The Power of 8, which I highly recommend. If you can get it in some format, that'd be great. In biological terms, activating the vagus nerve. Now, that's the nerve that runs all the way from here down the sternum, right? Down the spinal cord, or down the middle of the body in that direction. In biological terms, activating the vagus nerve and increasing levels of oxytocin, as occurs when we show kindness or compassion towards others, has a marked healing effect on the body. And then there's an author named David Hamilton who wrote the book, Why Kindness is Good for You. The studies that he presents in that book shows that increased oxytocin levels in the body found evidence that they lower inflammation and boost the immune system. They aid digestion. They lower blood pressure. They heal wounds. And they even repair damage to the heart after a heart attack. So we're getting this in our 10-minute sessions. We're hitting all of these points. We're entraining our hearts and our minds through our breathing, and we're really focusing on things. We're changing the hertz in our brain patterns, and we're increasing the oxytocin levels in our body through compassion. So that's looks like those are the biological reasons anyway of why the people who get together to send out all this powerful good intention to others get healed in the process. So
wow, that's amazing. And you were
isn't
just
it?
saying right before we went live that you saw somebody commented in the chat or in a comment saying that their neck and shoulder pain had went away after a couple of weeks of doing this Power of 8 with us.
Yeah, I wonder if she's in the chat room tonight, because I can't see the chat when I'm live on Hangouts. It's just it's just impossible for me with my technology. And I believe her last name was Huang, Huang. I think she was in Australia. And she commented during your live call-in show. Was that last night or was that the night before? That was last night.
Yeah, my days are running together too.
Yeah, it seemed like ages ago. So last night she commented that she'd only done a few of these meditations with us because we've only done 2. This is our 3rd, and that her chronic neck and shoulder pain were gone. And she was hoping that it just stays that way, you know, now that she's doing these group weekly. And if you read the book, The Power of 8, a lot of people, their healings are instant. They just happen. That's not a slow process.
That's amazing. Yeah, I know a lot of people need healing of some sorts anyway.
But I think it's important to trigger the compassion in your body. And the only way you can do that is by giving your true intention for others. If you join a group to help others in order to help yourself, you're not triggering that compassion. So you're not getting the oxytocin. So that's the key, isn't it? That's the hook.
Yeah, it's got to be true service
compassion.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's got to be true service to others mentality to get the right chemistry happening, I guess.
Yep. Yeah. So if you've joined to heal yourself and you're doing these meditations, you'll probably start focusing more on others anyway through the process. And as soon as you start focusing your love and your energy on others, boom, the compassion chemicals will kick in, oxytocin, and that will start to heal yourself. As soon as you genuinely focus your energy and love on others, it's a wonderful thing that happens. I like that.
Yeah, me too. And I do want to let people know that I did receive some submissions that we'll go into next week because we already had some lined out for this week. So if you do have anything that's on your heart for the overall group of meditation, you want to record a video or just the audio and email it to me, we will get to it as we can. And we do appreciate everyone that wants to participate and take an active role, because it's a beautiful thing. We're all one big happy family of intention here.
That's great that you got a couple of submissions. If we get a lot of submissions, maybe we could do 2 or 3 meditations in an hour. And if you get just a few submissions, we could just do 1 a week.
Yeah.
I'll leave that up to you.
And if we get real busy, maybe we can just do a meditation only night where we just, maybe come in on a Wednesday or something. I don't know. Just throwing some ideas out there live.
I mean, I can meditate for an hour. So it is, a lot of people do.
Mm-hmm.
You just take a breath and a breather in between and then go into the next one.
Yeah, it's not as and I think what you were just reading from the book really gets into this whole fact that when I'm meditating with a group, I don't get as tired. It's like, it's sort of like you're outside of yourself more and you're connecting with others more. And like you were just saying, you're activating those gamma rays. Was it the really fast?
Gamma hertz. What is it? Gamma.
Like 30.
What are they called? Not gamma rays. We're getting gamma rays. We're getting cosmic gamma rays, which is kind of interesting.
Gamma waves.
Waves. There you go.
So close. I was like, wait, what is it?
Yeah. Gamma waves.
Gamma waves. Yeah. And then combined with the theta. Now, like when I'm by myself, the theta is what takes you down quick because now you're like, you're getting into that subconscious, almost sleep mode, and that's
where we usually fall asleep, right? Exactly. And we're like, whoa, So in the group, we don't fall asleep. That's kind of interesting. Nobody's reported falling asleep in the group.
Yeah, no. And we have been, people said we've looked stoned, or anyway, I did. I wasn't stoned. It's like I turned my camera off and went and smoked a doob while you guys are meditating. It's really not like that at all.
It's like we come back from the meditation, our eyes are like rolling in our heads. What did you say to him? You said, yeah, I'm high on 5D earth and love.
Yeah, exactly. High on love light. That's funny. Thank you so much, Sherry. Yeah,
Hi, Sherry.
It's great to be in a group like this. That's overprotected, Sherry. We have several Sherrys. We have several Deborahs. We have several Michelles.
Sherry, I mentioned you in my promo video today, so you have to go on and play tonight's video because I uploaded the meditation for the children and said that you had asked for it. So, and I'm sure we can get to other people's requests too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Let's see. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything here. Yeah, because we were going to focus on volcanoes. Now, I had a few people that saw the video I posted about abundance and thought they missed the live show, but that was a separate video. It wasn't done live. We were actually going to play a segment of that tonight during our meditation, as well as add the part before that where, what do you call it, where we entrain in the beginning? Or
yeah, I call it where we entrain our hearts and our minds and our breathing. And that's the short bit that just gets you down deep into those gamma rays or high into the gamma rays. I'm not sure which way we're going with those because when you do compassion, you go high.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and then we'll go into the earth changes and calming the earth and.
Yeah, without spending, because we want to do your meditation. We want to kind of entrain everybody's hearts together. It's also called, Heart Maths calls it heart cohesion. Is that the right word? Heart coherence. Heart coherence.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. So different people, Lynne McTaggart calls it powering up.
I like that.
I call it heart entrainment because from the quantum world, particles get entrained, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. Powering up sounds like a video game, though, so I'm a gamer. So give me that power up. Exactly. I can see you play Super Mario Brothers too, right?
Oh yeah. Whoa, what? Yeah. Oh God, yeah, definitely.
Get the mushroom.
Yeah, I'm really terrible at it. Ask my kids. I'm terrible at it. I get killed constantly, and I'm like, why are they calling this killed? Oh, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm killed. I'm killed. I'm like, why are they just throwing that word around like it means nothing?
Right.
You know.
I used to love to watch my mom play when I was a kid because she'd have, we played on the Atari when she was way back. So she'd have the joystick like this, and she'd be moving it with everything, trying to like move.
I did Space Invaders and Pong. I was playing video games with my Atari when the video game was a square ball on the screen going boom, boom,
yeah,
boom. Yep.
So you had the ColecoVision thing with the two big knobs on it. Okay, that was the very first one.
Heavy one. It looked like a VCR. Yeah.
And it was the only game there was, and it just had a couple of switches you could.
Yeah.
And the ball was a big square, and you had two big rectangles.
The ball was a big square.
Yeah.
You could still lose. It went really slow, but it was still possible to lose that game. I don't know how.
Yeah. And then I loved it. We got the Atari and Asteroids, and Combat was even fun with the little square tanks shooting little squares up.
Yeah, absolutely. And Space Invaders with the little square spaceships coming down and the little square
I love
laser beams coming down.
Yeah, I totally
always lost that one. Never ever won that game. That was impossible.
My sister was really good at that game Kaboom, where it had the little criminal at the top dropping bombs, and you had the three brackets, and you had to catch the bombs, and if you missed them and they hit, then they'd all blow up or whatever. And
that sounds like fun.
Going so fast across there, and it was amazing.
And then I remember Pac-Man in the bars where you'd go to listen to music or have a beer when we were young, and the table would be made of Pac-Man game. Do you remember that? No, you're kind of young. You're younger than me.
I do remember the Pac-Man games. We actually had Pac-Man at home. That's the one game that I came upstairs and told my mom what level I got to, and she felt my heart, and she goes, "You need to stop playing so much. You're getting too excited." And after that, I was like, can't tell her about what level I reach anymore. She's going to make me quit playing.
Oh, my God. Excited. Early game addiction, according to Shane.
I was already hiding it, She taught me.
I have a theory on this, though. I'm a pretty positive person anyway, as you know. But I figure if we're doing this, if our children are doing this and they're on their phones and they're playing games, there's a reason why. And this is going to be part of our evolution. And I don't see it down the dark path of everybody becoming an AI robot. I just think that we'll eventually be able to run everything with our minds, switch lights on and off, call somebody, turn on the TV, boom. You know, it's just, I think we're hardwiring ourselves basically in a positive way.
Yeah, when I came across that information in the what was the Wing Makers material, and it was basically saying that we are at this crossroads for humanity where we can either evolve and have our spiritual gifts come online, our metaphysical part of us come online, nice. Or we can the negative path was that we start trying to connect, you know, computers and hardware to ourselves to do it artificially, and that's like where we were at. You know, it's like we're at this crossroads. Do we do it naturally? Because people don't know that's even an option. People think the only option is to connect something to your head. And, you know,
absolutely. So we're talking about like hardwiring chips into our body and becoming AI, when all we have to do is turn on those parts of our brain and start using them and training them naturally.
Yeah, but it's going to be it's going to be alluring, you know, if people don't think that's a possibility and they think, you know, I can just download a language app and speak Spanish fluently tomorrow and stuff, you know, that's for $4.99. You know what I
mean? I've experimented with psychic tests. Have you? There's a few things I can do. I don't know if I can do them live though. Have you experimented at all?
I've had some experiences. Me and my cousin would go through a deck of cards, and we would try to pull out an ace and stop right on the ace, and we would just sort of use our mind to find it. And it would happen quite a bit where we'd like say, I feel like this is it, and we'd turn it over and it would be the ace, and it would be like, oh my gosh, was that just a coincidence? Did I really do it? You know?
Yeah, if you look up those old tests where there's like 4 cards, where there's water, star, square, circle. There's another one in there. I can't remember which one. The wavy lines is like the water. And if you do 4, you can figure out the odds of getting them right. You should get 1 right on average every 4 flips, right? And you can do that with a quarter too. You know, calling heads or tails with yourself and or with somebody else, you've got a 50-50 chance. And if you are more correct than false and you're consistently beating those odds, that would be a measurable result. Yeah. Scientifically, that would be considered a measurable result. You'd have to get more than 50% right consistently, like over a long period of time.
Yeah, we did a trick where we were taking 10 pennies, and at first we were saying, okay, just decide how many is going to be heads and how many is going to be tails when I mix them up and lay them out on the table. You know, me and my son were doing this because I was trying to see, you know, what kind of rainbow children abilities they might have or whatever. So we're like doing that. And he was right probably about 70% of the time, you know. Wow. And then I was like, let's make it really hard. And you write down the order it's going to be, like heads, tails, heads, tails, you know, because that's like lotto numbers there. That's like the odds of getting that right are astronomical compared to just guessing, you know, how many out of 10 is going to be whatever. So he would get a big section of them right, and then, you know, it would go off, it seemed like. But so I don't know, you know.
I think from what I've read, not my opinion, the more you practice it and exercise these skills, the stronger they get. Like my family read a lot of Richard Bach in the day, which is Jonathan Livingston Seagull, and a really cool book called Illusions, which is about this whole world being illusion. So I highly recommend it. It's a short book. I even was in contact with the author many, many decades ago. And he had his character cloud vaporize. So my family and I just started cloud vaporizing, and we could all do it. And we would have cloud vaporizing races. So like on a day when the clouds were nice and low, because it's harder the further away they are, and when they were kind of see-through and puffy, like balls of cotton wool, you know, those are easier to do than when they're spread way out. We would each pick a cloud, and then we would concentrate and focus all of our energy on it. And some people used an eraser in their mind to erase it. Other people used a vacuum. I would simply look through it like those illusion cards you get, where if you stare at it and past it, you see a 3D image pop out at you. I would do that to the cloud and just visualize blue. Blue, 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 blue. And our clouds would start to literally vaporize. Now, the particles are just water, and they're not disappearing. They're just like they're just moving to another cloud. They're just moving away because our focus is making them move, basically. I don't understand the mechanics of it, but I've met other people who can cloud vaporize.
I didn't know anybody even did that. That's amazing.
Yeah, and you can do it on chemtrails too. Chemtrails are a little harder if they're higher up, but you can vaporize the chemtrails. It takes a little bit more energy. And I don't think they disappear. I don't think you make those particles, poof, they're gone. I think you're just moving them around. I think they're just dispersing and moving. So I'm like, why bother? If I'm just dispersing a chemtrail, why should I spend all that energy trying to zap it, right?
Right.
So
yeah,
I don't.
So yeah, I've done that sort of thing before, but I didn't know it was anything anybody does. So like what I'll do is, what I've done is, the clouds will be really thin at night to where you can see the moon through them, but not clearly.
Yeah.
Like you can just see the light of the moon. So I focus on a spot that, you know, as I see the clouds moving, I try to vaporize a spot enough that the moon becomes clear once that cloud gets to there, and I just focus on it and focus on it and focus on it. And then when it gets to the moon, I'm like, I can see it. I did it, you know?
You see? You're naturally cloud vaporizing. So that book, I think, was written in the like 1970s.
Wow.
And his main character in it would lay back and vaporize clouds and taught another person how to do it. And that's when me and my whole family started vaporizing clouds. I had a really esoteric family, you know. That's kind of cool.
There's something else I would do that's really interesting. And it was easier back when it was cold, because I would run the water in the bathroom because there's not a vent in there and I don't want the pipes to freeze. So I just turn on the hot water for a while, and it would steam up really fast because it's kind of cold in there. So what I would do is, as the steam was like kind of coming over in front of the light, I'd look up and I'd get it to swirl one way or the other, like clockwise.
Oh.
I'd have it roll this way or roll this way, just using my intention, and it would do it. I mean, it would roll this way, and then you change your mind. You're like, all right, is it really doing it? Let's go the other direction. Then it would.
That's really cool. I'm going to try that. I've not tried that. So for some reason, vapor's easy to move.
Right.
Me, clouds, water vapor, and you, clouds and steam.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what's harder to move. This is a labradorite stone. Hard matter is harder to move. So I bought a pendulum. You know what a pendulum is? It's a little crystal with a point that's on like a metal string.
Right.
And I took some sticky tack. Do you know what that is? I don't know what they call it here, from Target. It's white, and you just peel it off, and it's gummy. It's like sticky.
Right.
And I've stuck it up in the doorway, and I let it settle. I let it come to complete stillness. And then with my mind, I try to push it left or right. And I've actually gotten it to move with no air in the house, no dogs walking around or kids or doors slamming or air conditioning vents. And I've gotten it to move a little bit. So I haven't done that in a long time. So I think if I work more on it, I'll get better at it. You know?
That's interesting.
Yeah,
that's really
so
cool.
That's easier than, say, moving something heavy with your mind across the table. Although if we believe we can do all this stuff, we could probably just do it instantly. But because we're conditioned and programmed that we can't do this stuff, we have to kind of show ourselves that we can.
Right. And we were raised that, you know, if we share that with our parents, they'd be like, that's silly. You can't change the way steam moves with your mind. And, you know, but all I would do is I just visualize it. All right, I see it rolling this way. And then it would start doing it. I'm like, did it really just do that because I was thinking about it? Or then I do it the other way. And then I just have it where it's sort of spinning or whirling around. And, you know, and the steam's kind of coming over steady from, you know, across the view. So I'm only just sort of changing the probability, you know, tapping into the different ways it can possibly move. So
I think you actually probably changed its direction with your mind, because your mind has waves. You were thinking instead of just picking up on the direction it was going to go. But who knows, right? It's hard to tell because we didn't study it, you know.
Right. But I think it goes along with the first scenario you said, really goes along with the random number generators and how the people could sit there and push more ones than zeros out of it. Or they even had one
more lefts and more rights.
Yeah, where a car would sit in the middle of a round table and they would have college students try to use their intention, because since it was random, it would just kind of stay in the middle of the table, but they'd have them use their intention to try to force it off to one side of the table until it fell off onto the floor. And,
oh, cool.
Yeah, and it showed positive results that they were affecting the randomness of, you know, whatever.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
And then Lynne McTaggart's book, The Field, from 2000 or 2004, right around there, she just has like 300 pages listing every experiment, like what you just said, that proves mind over matter. Because there's like thousands of them. There's so many published experiments that shows the mind has more power over matter. And I think the Mandela effect is kind of like throwing it in our face, you know, because matter's changing everywhere. And it's like, well, what's changing it, you know? And we're like, CERN, the devil, Nibiru. And actually, it's probably just our collective minds changing matter.
Totally. It's such a fascinating topic. I mean, I could go on forever with it in the studies. And I like to get somebody on that's really, really done a lot of work, like Dean Radin. We'd spoken about all of the work he's done with stuff like that. And of course, Tom Campbell, the NASA physicist, that talks a lot about, he was saying how, you know, if you got to go in and get a tumor biopsied and they don't know if it's cancer, you just feel that you have a lump there and they're going to biopsy it. He said you can use your intention before it's known of what it is and make it benign. When they test it, they'll say, no, it's benign. Don't worry, it's not cancer. He says, because it's like that collapsing the wave function in quantum physics. You know, once it sort of, what do they call it?
Acknowledge it.
Yeah, when you collapse the wave
observer
function,
effect.
Yeah, exactly, the observer effect. So once they test it and they're like, oh, it's cancer, and you were worried about it being cancer, and it could work the other way. You're like, oh my gosh, is this cancer? And the whole week you're waiting for your appointment. You're like, oh my gosh, I hope it's not cancer. And what if it's cancer? And you're constantly thinking about that. It might have been benign and you turn it into something cancerous. So I think
I read somewhere that doctors can do a lot of harm without realizing it by giving you the prognosis after a diagnosis. They're like, this is what you have, and this is what's going to happen to you based on all the people before you. But that's not necessarily true. That just because that happened to other people doesn't mean that has to happen to you. So once they set that in somebody's mind, it's like maybe the subconscious goes, okay, you know, that's the way it goes. I'm going to go that way. And that's not, you know, if you read Anita Moorjani's Dying to Be Me, oh my God, she's like a researcher, and she was riddled with cancer, and she crossed over during her death. And she was on life support, and she met loved ones on the other side who said, you don't have to stay, you can go back. And she's like, I can't go back to that body. Yeah, I think she had like over 40 tumors in her body and multiple organ failure. And they said, oh yeah, you can. And she was like, well, how? And they said, you can heal it. You can do anything. If you want to go back, you can go back and you can heal that body. So boom, she chooses to come back. She wakes up. The doctors don't believe her. She says, I'm getting rid of my cancer. And they're like, well, we're going to give you chemotherapy anyway. Because before, when she was dying, she was too sick for chemotherapy. So she rid her body of cancer with the willpower of her mind, having been told on the other side that she could do it. And they gave her chemotherapy, which they said wouldn't work. And she was cancer-free within 2 months. She'd gotten rid of every tumor in her body. So it's a beautiful book. Hay House published it. It's like 250 pages, 10 or 11 bucks. And it's called Dying to Be Me by Anita Moorjani. And if she can do that on 40 tumors, then, you know, everybody can do it on one.
Right. Yeah, that brings up a good point. So even though you sort of collapse the wave function and they biopsy it and it is cancer, it's still not the end of, it's just maybe not as easy as it would have been if you sort of made it benign to begin with, but you can reverse anything. We have the power over anything, you know?
Yeah, I like the fact that you can change it before you know what it is, before you've observed it. Because that makes it easier, doesn't it? Because it's still lingering in possibility, in potentiality. You know, that whole world of potentiality. And then as soon as you observe it, boom, it's set. Then it's harder to change.
Yeah, and I can imagine how when somebody gets a diagnosis of a terminal illness, how their whole perspective changes. And even if say the doctor was wrong about what it was, they'd probably give themselves terminal cancer just from worrying about it, you know, that thinking they do have it. I mean, because our power of intention is just that strong, you know?
It is, yeah. And we are programmed and we are conditioned. And everybody here on this channel is definitely breaking out of that conditioning, breaking out of that program. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we're actually already free because we already don't hold to it. And
Mm-hmm.
now we're floating around this world going, hello, anybody else out there who thinks like me? And there aren't many. You know, that's why they come here to this channel, because there aren't that many people in maybe their work environment, their home environment, who understands them. But you guys, we've all broken free. We're already in 5D Earth. We just don't see it around us yet because we're out of the program. We're out of the 3D matrix.
Definitely. And it doesn't help that most of us know someone who's died of cancer, and we've seen the end result in the hospice and all of the things you go through with that. And, you know, and we just think that's my future, you know, but it doesn't have to be. You can shift your thinking right now. And if you had a diagnosis like that, shift your thinking right now and understand that it can be gone tomorrow, just with the power of thought, you know?
And love, the power of love.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that the self-help metaphysical New Age movement did that could be a little bit harmful. Lynne McTaggart says in The Power of Eight that perhaps telling us to only focus on ourselves has caused a little more harm than good in terms of well-being, because it's all been about me, loving me, abundance for me, happiness for me, protection for me, instead of teaching people to give that to others, instead of teaching altruism and compassion and cooperation, which none of us are weak on in this community. We all are, if you look at the comments, very compassionate, very altruistic, and very generous of heart and giving in this group. But in general, people have been taught, in order to heal, you need to focus on just yourself. And the studies are proving the opposite. If you want to heal, focus on others, give to others. If you want to live an abundant life, give to others. And the other thing that self-help did was it said, you are in control of everything. And if you're sick and you have cancer, you created it. It's your fault. So now the person who's sick is beating themselves up going, why did I create this? What did I do? What did I do to bring this on? Now, I do believe we are the masters of our universes and our bodies and our lives, but there's a lot of things going on around us that we bump into constantly. Chemicals in the water, maybe bad food, bad air, stress. You know, and those are out of our control. And yes, our bodies are going to react to other things around us. So if you are unwell, don't blame yourself and say, oh my God, look what I've done to myself. Although your opinion and your attitude has a lot to do with your illness getting worse or getting better. Mm-hmm. So I guess I'm on the fence on that one. And I think we are in control of our lives, and our attitude can affect our abundance and health, but I don't think that we are completely immune to everything that we share in the group environment. You know, I think that has an effect on us too. So don't beat yourself up if you got sick.
Totally. And another thing to think about is with the law of one, how it talked about catalysts that you set up before you come into this incarnation to sort of set you back on track. So you might have different things set up throughout your life where if you're not on the right track, something will happen to, you know, and then it gradually get worse or worse, if you want to think of it in worse terms, but it's really for the greater good, you know, to get you back where you're supposed to be or knock you back on track. And I can say if somebody's so busy with going up the corporate ladder, they're just busy with 3D thoughts and desires and everything, and they need something to say, hey, to throw on the brakes or whatever, they might have set up cancer in their future for something like that. You know what I mean? Not as a bad thing, but just as a wake up.
Where people get something good out of it. They go, wow, if that didn't happen, this wouldn't have happened.
Exactly. Yeah, so you just never know. And some of us needed the Mandela effect. No, I did.
Well, I think everybody figures these things out for themselves. And to be honest with you, whatever works for you, go with it. You know, if something works for you that we don't agree with or haven't spoken about, go with it. Because we are kind of like individual planets in a shared universe called Earth. We're like individual cells in a body. So your opinion for your health and your abundance and happiness matters more than anybody else's for yourself.
Yeah, and I don't know that I believe that 100%. It's just something that's sort of on the table that I think about. I'm like, yeah, I can see the greater good of that if you sort of take a step back and, you know, but I don't know. Who knows? You know?
I don't know. The Buddhists say that too. They say that good is good because it feels good. Neutral is good because it doesn't feel bad. And bad is good because it makes you grow. Good doesn't make you grow. Good it's like living your life at Disney World and eating ice cream and cake and popcorn all the time and riding rides and going, okay, I've had enough of this life. Bye, adios, I'm out of here. No, you know, you don't grow. The growth comes from the challenges, and the challenges come from difficulties, and that makes you grow. So that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, and you know, going to art college was where I learned that lesson very well, because I took an online course and we had to review at least 3 other students' work and give them opinions about what we saw or whatever. And they wouldn't accept you just saying, oh, that looks great and that's done. They said to actually look at it closely, find something and give some, you know, constructive criticism about it or whatever. And, you know, at first when I went there, it would upset me. You know, I'd rather somebody be like, hey, this might have been a little bit better, but overall it was wonderful. And, you know, but it was usually the students that weren't very good at art too, that would have the best advice, you know what I mean? And they'd say, you know, well, you know, the head looks a little small to me. And, you know, and it would be things that sort of upset me, but it was those things that made me a better artist in the end, because workable things, you know, so it felt bad at the time I got it, but you grow so much better with actual feedback, truthful feedback, than you do with an attaboy, you know what I mean?
I get what you mean. It's the challenges that stretch you and push you. And then there's that whole subject about karma too. I don't know. I'm on the fence. I don't know if we have like a lot of karma that we have to work out, but I'm not going to say that we don't.
Yeah,
I don't know if it matters. I don't know if any of this stuff matters, because beliefs are only as good as they serve you. If they make your life better, then the belief is important. If the belief does not make your life better, then chuck it out. It's not important. You know, it's like, why carry it around like baggage?
Yeah, and then I hear others saying that, oh, the time of karma is over. So I never really had a karma thing going on in my mind, you know? No. I mean, I can see how people believe that, but and I've experienced instant karma, that's for sure.
Yeah,
like, you know,
I love
get mad about something and stub your toe a moment later or something, you know, and it's like I think sometimes things like karma too.
Or but I didn't come here thinking that I'm carrying karma from previous lifetimes with me. I just don't carry that. I feel very joyful and positive, and as my difficulties arise, I just deal with them. I don't try to think of, well, why are they here and why me and what does it relate to? Is it because of a previous life? You know, I just like deal with it, be done with it, and move on.
Yeah, because we talked about having to kill those palomino bugs down there, and isn't that what they're called? Something like that. And that's instant karma, because if you smash one of those suckers, you got a mess on your hands. They're so big.
Oh, yeah, saw palmetto bugs. And then now we've got stink bugs, came over from Japan, and they're in Florida and Georgia and Alabama. And apparently they burn on the skin, and if you kill one, they stink to high heaven. And I'm telling you, I got one in my eye. They burn. That. Oh, my God. I had to go into like one of those side medical places, you know, for quick emergencies, and have them remove a stink bug from my eye that flew into my eye.
Oh, wow.
It was like fire. I'm not kidding. It was like, I'm like going to just wear sunglasses outside because I never want another stink bug in my eye.
Well, awesome. Well, we're already like 45 minutes in. Shall we begin the...
Sure. And just out of curiosity, how many guys have we got in the group? Does it show you on the screen?
It says we have 83 here at this 20-second delayed point of...
That's a good group. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's awesome for doing a live group heart and trained meditation. You know, because she's talking about the power of 8, maybe in your living room, and we've got the power of 83 tonight.
Yeah, that's over 10 groups of 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost got the magic 11 number.
if I train our hearts through breathing, I'm going to add a couple of things tonight. I'm going to ground everybody because we've not been grounding ourselves. So maybe some people have been going deeper and feeling flightier afterwards than they'd like to. And I'm just going to add a quick comment about the volcanoes and the earthquakes because that keeps coming up, but we never do a whole meditation on it. And we really want to do Shane's abundance meditation tonight because if you haven't heard it yet, you're in for a real treat. It's probably like one of my top 3 meditations that I've ever heard.
Oh, wow, that means a lot coming from you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. This is big. I go to sleep to it. I put it in my little playlist of like 4 meditations that I'm willing to listen to while I sleep, and I've put that right in there. So,
oh, thank you so much.
It's awesome.
That's nice to know.
Thank you.
As soon as you get to the point where you want me to roll it, just let me know and say, now we'll go into the abundance, and then I'll just start playing the other one right behind it. Is that how you want to do it? Or
yeah, and don't feel rushed, like you have to hurry and play it. Play it comfortably and calmly so you don't bring yourself out of the meditative heart entrainment. You want to stay in while you go and hit play. Okay. So don't feel panicked like there's going to be like dead air. Just let that calm and quiet be there until it starts playing, because everybody will be breathing and ready. Everybody will be ready for it. No rush.
Okay. All right.
So perfect. I'm going to click off just my video so you can hear me.
And I'll get everything ready to come in right behind.
Okay, great. So I think we'll just start by entraining our hearts and our minds through our breath by breathing together. And then we'll ground ourselves. And then we'll go to that beautiful, safe place in our mind where we can start to meditate and pray together as a group for the common good of all. And I have a little bit of a scratchy voice tonight, so bear with me. I hope I won't have to clear my throat when we get started. So the first thing that I'd like you to do is just take a deep breath in through your nose and fill up the bottom of your lungs. Hold that for a few moments and exhale all the negativity, all the stress of the day. Just exhale that out. And then breathe in slowly and deeply. Hold that for just a few moments and exhale any negativity around you out with that breath. And when you're ready, take a third slow, deep breath in. Hold it for just a few moments and exhale any negativity in your home out with that breath. And now as we're breathing in gently and slowly at a pace that's comfortable for you, I want you to imagine that you're breathing in through your heart and out through your heart. Breathe in through your heart and out through your heart. And now as you're breathing in through your heart, imagine a beautiful, bright, crystalline, clear, clean light coming into your heart with that breath and going out of your heart on the exhale. And that light can be any color that you like. It can be green, which is very healing. It can be pink or salmon, which is very loving. It can be blue, which is very communicative and expressive. It can be yellow, like the sun giving life to all of the earth. You can even use orange, which is very creative and abundant. And you can use red, which is very grounding and strong. And as you're breathing in and out of your heart, a beautiful color, maybe even the rainbow colors all together, I want you to imagine a silver cord running from your root chakra And that root chakra is at the very, very base of your spine. And send that silver cord down into the earth, into the ground, and send it all the way to the center of the earth. And when that silver cord gets to the center of earth, let it splay out in many directions, in all directions, kind of like the roots of a tree, of a silver tree. Continue to breathe in this beautiful healing light into your heart and exhale that light from your heart. And as you breathe in this light from the heart, you're going to breathe it out into a bubble around you. You're going to breathe that light in, and as it comes out, it's going to fill that bubble with a beautiful healing light, the color of your choice. And that's going to run through your body and around your body. And when you're comfortable, let that light fill the room that you're in, breathing it in and exhaling it out. And when you're comfortable, let it fill your whole home. And when you're ready, let it fill your community and fill your town. And if you feel comfortable, let that light cover your entire county and your entire state or province. And when you're ready, let that light cover your entire country. And let your country bathe in the light that has come from above, gone through your heart chakra, and come out to the world, where you are helping to heal and protect others in this beautiful world that we share. And finally, when you're comfortable, if you like, let that light cover the entire world. Whether you see that round or you see it flat or in some other way, let the love light from your heart chakra cover the entire world. And send it specifically to your family and your loved ones now. And send it to your other family members who don't live with you. And send it to your friends. And send it to your neighbors. Send it to your colleagues at work. And send it to your congressmen and representatives so that they actually start working from their heart chakras in making important decisions that affect you. And just breathe that love light in and breathe that love light out. And when you're ready, Shane is going to play a beautiful meditation. But before he hits play, we just want to let the earth bathe in the love light and ask that it release its pressure and it release its steam and its heat through earthquakes and volcanoes in a gentle way, causing the least amount of harm possible so that people are safe, animals are safe, and communities are safe. We're going to ask tonight that this beautiful planet that we're on continue to release any built up energy through earthquakes and volcanoes in the safest, gentlest way possible. And now, Shane, when you're ready, just play the abundance meditation, abundance for all.
Feel yourself relaxing into the comfort of the one infinite creator. Feel your connection with God and the earth and humanity. We are all combining our intentions as you continue to breathe deeply, permeating the cells of your body and washing away all negativity, all cares, all worries, all fears are all dissolving away and transforming into love light. as we continue to breathe in and breathe in the light of love, exhaling out the love of God into the world, into the earth. We are connected as one. Feel that connection. Feel that connection with nature, with the earth, with all the other humans on the planet, with everyone joining in with this group meditation right now, past, present, and future. There's a connection being made, a supernatural connection. Feel that connection right now. Feel that we are one with our intention. Let's now focus our attention together as we continue to breathe on abundance for the higher good of humanity in the world. As we continue to breathe, feel the love light you breathe in dissolve away any thoughts of lack, any thoughts of shortages or not enough. Dissolve away and get replaced with abundance, having everything you need for the greater good of mankind in the world. Visualize abundance going out to the world. All the projects that focus on a better world, a more loving place for humanity, are having all their needs met. Not only financially, but with equipment, manpower, floor space, whatever they need to accomplish their goal for a better world for mankind. Visualize all the love light workers' needs being met so they can fulfill their highest purpose for humanity and God. As you continue to breathe in, feel that connection with everyone else. Feel the thoughts of lack just fall away and get replaced with the feeling of abundance. Visualize the resources just falling into place. Whatever these projects need, the resources miraculously appear. Visualize a world where those with the highest desires to help mankind are no longer hindered by lack. They have everything they need. All of their needs are met. Abundance. Resources becoming available as they need them to accomplish the highest, greatest good for mankind. Visualize this world of abundance for all, where there is plenty of clean water to drink, plenty of healthy food to eat, clothing, housing for all, abundance for all. Visualize everyone's needs being met. All of the love light projects with the greatest good for mankind get all the resources they need. Whatever those resources are, they miraculously fall into place. Let's shift our focus to those overcome with the lust of greed and power, that they can get a glimpse of a future of abundance for all, and that little spark of divinity within them will be ignited to a flaming fire of desire to help the greater good of all, the desire to serve the greater good of mankind. Let that glimpse of a beautiful future of abundance for all soften the hearts of those overcome with service to self and transmute that to a desire for service to others, a desire to make the world a better place for all, a beautiful place, a new world where there is no lack. There's only abundance for all, plenty, clean water, electricity, healthy food, homes for all. As we continue to breathe in the light of love and hold it, and exhale out, relax in the comfort and the trust, knowing all of the needs will be met for the greater good of mankind. As we continue to breathe, we shift our focus on the entire earth. Visualize an earth of abundance for all, plenty for all, everyone's needs being met, where suffering from lack is a thing of the past. This is a new world of abundance, abundance for all. As we breathe in the love and the light through our hearts, we hold it there. and we exhale out the love and the light and the abundance to the entire world. We're connected. Our intentions are creating a new world in a miraculous, synchronistic way. Breathe in that love, light, creator, God energy and feel the power and the connectedness with everyone else, past, present, and future, joining in with this intention meditation. Feel the energy go through your body and connect you with Creator God and the earth and all of humanity. Imagine the abundance pouring over the earth and the suffering from lack dissolving away. Imagine the world glowing with a golden rainbow light. Visualize the tears of joy for those who have their needs met, for those who are joyous and happy and content, for those no longer in need and suffering. Feel the joy and the relief and the gratitude as their needs are finally met and they find themselves in this glorious new place of abundance. As we continue to breathe and let our breathing slowly return to normal. Feel the love and the light bathe us and continue to follow us throughout our day. Through our sleeping hours, that love light protection continues to connect us all to each other, to the earth, and to the infinite Creator God. As our breathing returns to normal, we will feel energized with the love and the light of the infinite Creator God. I love you all so much. Thank you for joining me in changing the world.
So now, when you're ready, just start to wiggle your toes, your fingers, move your hands, your feet, your legs, and start to come back and release your grounding cord far into the earth. You can put another one in anytime you like, whenever you wish to ground yourself during a meditation. I'm back.
I'm back too. Wow. I like the grounding cord thing. That's nice.
Hopefully that'll keep people a little less, like some people said they went pretty far during the previous meditations and it was a little hard to kind of wake up and come back into the live chat.
Yeah, I do feel like it was less, like a dupe. Like still relaxing.
I feel very relaxed. I always do.
Wonderful. Oh, thank you so much, Judith. Says it was awesome and beautiful. And I just think it's wonderful that we all can come together like this. Even those listening later, it's the whole retro causality thing. It's like, it doesn't even matter.
They get to add their energy to this group creation that we've done tonight. And sometimes they comment that they can feel the group energy, even though they're doing it a day or a week later. They kind of feel the power of the group while they're listening to it.
And that's trippy because we were feeling the power and they haven't even done it yet. That's the mind-blowing part of it. It's not like we missed out on it because they're not going to do it for another week. It's like we still got to enjoy it. They just don't know.
They just don't know it yet.
Right. So thank you to those watching in the future. We enjoyed that just now. And that was wonderful.
And then we'll try to get to the submissions next week. Are you going to try to play 2 of them next week, like one after the other? We'll kind of entrain our hearts through breathing and grounding ourselves, and then you'll play the 2 submissions?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Are they about 10 minutes long each, or are they shorter?
I can't really remember. I think one was 7 minutes and one was 10, maybe, or something like that.
I think we're up for it. Yeah.
But I think I might be able to shave off the beginning because, you know, if you do the grounding part of it, then we can sort of just get right into the meditation portion of it.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to do that? Because I think when we're live today or every Saturday, we need to kind of start breathing together and visualizing things together just to get our hearts and minds entrained before we listen to the actual visualization that takes us somewhere.
I like that. Yeah, definitely. It's perfect.
Okay.
So if anyone has any ideas, I'll say it again in case you were late hopping in here. Send me an email with audio or video and audio, whatever you feel comfortable with. If you have an idea for an overall mega group of 8, I should say. And
oh yeah, if you guys want to change the name, please do, Shane and group. It doesn't have to be the Power of 8 at 8. We just felt like starting it out that way because we were reading this book, sharing some of the knowledge in this book and using it as a guide. But this is very much our own creation. So if you guys would like to change the name, I'm fine with that. If you want to keep it the same, I'm fine with that.
I think we should keep it the same. I actually got about a half dozen great name ideas, and I was like, well, let's just leave it because it's easy to remember the time, and you know,
okay. I
think it is anyway. And then, you know, I don't have to pick between a half dozen great ideas. That's really what I'm trying to get away from that because it was like, wow, that's a great one. That's a great one. But yeah, it's you know, we had a simple way of kind of coming up with a name.
It's simple. It could be the Power of 80 at 8 now, but we know that that's the reality.
Right, no matter how many it is. And it was Michelle's opinions brought up the fact that it's the infinity emblem sideways. So I like that. So
I like that too. Yeah, so
people joining in. So that's beautiful.
No, that's good. And then if you guys want to give topics in the comments, like maybe you don't want to submit a meditation, but you'd like Shane to do one or you'd like me to do one live on a particular topic, please send those in. Definitely.
Yeah, leave a comment or a chat. We'll check the chat. I didn't check all of last week's chat, but I will check the comments. Comments is probably a better way. So even if you put a suggestion in the chat, you might want to drop it in a comment below just so it's not missed.
Oh yeah, once the video is published and we're no longer live, the chat is harder to read. It's a lot smaller and a lot longer than the comments are. You can add a comment after it's published.
Yeah, and I've noticed that the chat will mess up sometimes too. And also, if I'm watching it, sometimes I'll get into it and I'm like, I wasn't paying attention to the chat again. And then I have to rewind it back and try to figure out where I stopped watching. But like last night's broadcast, I was trying to watch the chat and it just quit for a long time. So I don't know. It's not dependable. Luckily, last night I had it on the screen. So I got lucky because I put it up there too. And it's easier to sort of follow it if you're.
I think the chat is really a chat. It's like during a live show, I watch the chat and it's like grouping us together because we can see who's there listening with us. It kind of brings us into a room together. But it is harder to read the chat post-production when I'm listening to a video because I'll either lose track of the video that I'm listening to or I'll lose track of the chat and I'll have to go back up and down and see where
or you'll do like me and you'll like, oh, I want to respond to that. Like, oh, I can't respond to that. That's not happening right now.
I do go back and read the chat through afterwards just so I can pick up on any comments from people. So it's important. Whatever you've said, I will definitely hear.
Yeah. But I might miss it in the chat, so definitely put it in the comments if you want me to see it. Or send me an email. That's probably the best way. Josee says she'd laugh out loud. I do that too.
Josee!
Try to respond.
Hey, who's having a birthday, I wonder? Huh?
I wonder.
Who's having a birthday soon?
I guess we'll have to find out tomorrow.
1 o'clock, right? You want to promo that show?
Yep, tomorrow at 1 o'clock. I actually have it beneath here, and let me scroll down to make sure I got the time zone right. Yeah, it's going to be tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. So that's going to be noon for me here Central Time. And those overseas, that will be GMT time, 5 p.m. GMT or UTC, and you can do the math from there. So that should be
So
fun.
are you doing 1 o'clock your time or
It'll
1
be 1
o'clock
o'clock your
Eastern?
time. Yeah, and then noon.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we'll actually come back, and Lori Lothian is going to be on and talking about her QHHT session, and that'll be at 3 p.m. Eastern. So that'll be about an hour after we're done with Josee's birthday party bash, if we can call it that.
Awesome.
And then I forgot to give the time yesterday for Monday's show with Nathan Sanders, but because we changed the time from our usual one because he's working in the evenings. So 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Or 5:30 p.m. GMT UTC will be Nathan, and that show is entitled Near Death Experience When I First Met Sam, and it's, I don't know, I can't wait for that one. That's going to be exciting too.
Yeah,
so
I want to
hear
too.
A lot of exciting stuff coming up.
The beginning, going back to the beginning now.
Yeah, and near-death experience stuff has always intrigued me. Oh, you actually had a book, and I always forget to ask you, what's the name of the book that it talks about a bunch of near-death experiences?
There's one that's particularly good because I've read so many of them because I had an NDE, so I've read like, I don't know, 10 books. Mm-hmm. And the author is PMH Atwater. Those are all initials, PMH Atwater. It's a woman, a researcher. And I lent it out. So I believe it's called Near Death, The Rest of the Experience.
Okay. I'm going to type that in here so I can.
Near death or after death, the rest of the experience. And she talks to 4,000 people, including children. And she just takes notes on what they say and kind of figures out what are the similarities and what are the differences and why. It's the best book I've ever read on NDE because you get the perspective of so many people.
Wow.
Like children only went to heaven. She's got a lot of books.
Yeah, she does. I see 3 that's similarly titled Near-Death Experience After Effects, The Real Story, Atwater, and the Near-Death Experience. Near-Death Experiences. So.
Hold on. Can you still see me even though I can't see you?
Yes, I can see you.
Okay, good. Let's see if you can see me now. You guys can still see me even though I've closed out all the Hangout stuff? Can you see me? Okay. So what I'm going to do is just try to find the actual book because it's that good that I don't want you to miss it by getting one of her other books. So,
she's been doing this for decades. Yeah, she's born in 37.
Still alive.
Yeah, it says 80 years old.
Is she still alive? Okay. I picked up a few more of her books, but it's just this one where she presents the information from over 4,000 different people.
That's the one I was really wanting to.
Yeah, because it has the biggest, broadest picture. Mm-hmm. Like children, all the children who had NDEs never went to hell. They went straight to heaven, and only 15% of adults experienced a hellish place before moving on to a heaven-like place. So they never got stuck there. Mm-hmm. But that meant 85% of adults went straight to heaven.
That's amazing.
And it was all based on what they believed they deserved. It didn't matter what religion they were, like those who believed in Jesus saw Jesus often. Mm-hmm. Those who believed in Buddha would see Buddha, Muhammad, sometimes angels, loved ones, always loved ones. Everybody got to see their grandma, I think.
Right.
And those are based on your particular beliefs, but also whether you went straight to heaven or not was determined on what you thought you deserved. So it's really important that always believe that you believe the best, believe that you deserve the best. Mm-hmm. Okay, so here it is. I guess it's a new version of the old book that I had. It's called Near Death Experiences, The Rest of the Story. And then it goes on to say what they teach us about living and dying and our true purpose. I guess maybe they've just retitled it. Do you think that's it? Because I had an older book.
Yeah, like a revision, maybe?
Yeah. That's the only thing I can see that's close.
What does the cover look like?
Well, it's like a man laying down on grass and he's going up like into heaven, into the sky. And mine was a bridge with snow on it. And it said near-death experiences, the rest of the story. And that was the hardcover, and it doesn't look like it's available anymore because mine was old.
That's cool. Yeah, ebook from 2009. So.
Okay, so just look for near-death experiences, the rest of the story.
Okay.
If you get that much of it, the rest of the title goes on forever. It says what they teach us about living and dying and our true purpose. So maybe she's updated it. It's paperback now.
Is it a pretty big book?
No, I'd say just like 200, 250 pages. A nice short one.
Josee saying Mandela effect.
What? They changed my cover. They've even changed the title of the book. You're right, Josee. It's a Mandela effect.
You never know. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, that is just too funny. I'm going to look it up off of Amazon, just on Google, and see maybe if Google has the older version. Right?
Yeah. We're going to have
I'm sure everybody loves watching me do this, right? How boring is this? Let's watch her look up book names. Okay. Because now I'm interested to see if it's out there or if this is truly a change, like it's gone.
Right.
Okay. I wonder if it was called Life After Death.
Maybe that's why you can't find your book. Nah, the conspiracy deepens, right? You know, you say you lent it to someone.
I did die and come back when I was 17. Oh my God, she's done so much. You know what? It's impossible for me to research it live. Good. I'm glad she's done that much. And that seems to be the main book. Near-death experiences, the rest of the story.
That's amazing. It's like, and she's living really a nice, long, fruitful life too, isn't she?
Yeah, and I like the way she writes. She writes like a real researcher. She tries not to get too emotional. You know, so she's like, here's the facts. You know, make of it what you will, but this is what they're reporting. And I always love when people do that. They let you make up your own mind.
That's kind of
like kind of like people on Unbiased and On the Fence.
That's
now I can see you guys. I'm back. I'm not looking anymore. So, yeah, and then Anita Morjani, Dying to Be Me, on how she healed her entire body from cancer through a near-death experience. But our group meditations, they're very powerful too. So if you guys experience anything that you'd like to share, please put it in the comments as well as the chat. If you drop it in the chat, great, but can you add it to the comments later so we can kind of keep track and see if anybody's shifting any old physical ailments or financial ailments or relationship ailments. And if those start to shift as a direct kind of effect of being in this group, that would be wonderful to know.
Definitely.
How's your shoulder, Shane?
It's been doing better. I just kind of keep injuring it by sleeping weird. Like I'll raise up in bed and I'll fall asleep like I'm about to get up and wake up, and I don't know, that could have been the whole problem this whole time, is that I don't even realize it. I'm like, I told my wife, if you see me sleeping like that, wake me up, please. Don't let me stay like that.
You're gonna have to tie you down and strap you to the bed on your back, right?
Yeah, I need a straight jacket. But I can't sleep on my back either. I think that might help too if I could, but I can't breathe. Maybe with my head turned or something. But I can't
sleep on my back because of a lower back issue. If I sleep on my back, the lower back hurts, so I'm better on my sides.
Same here.
But pillows are important. If you get a nice big enough pillow to, like, you don't want your head falling down when you're laying on your side. You want enough of a pillow to make your head straight. Is your pillow straight enough?
Yeah, I use 2 pillows as a matter of fact.
You know that guy, like My Pillow? Have you seen that ad where he's like, best pillow ever made in the world, made in the USA? Have you ever seen that one?
I think so.
That is a really good pillow.
Oh, it is?
It's at Bed Bath & Beyond, yeah. And it's a bunch of little pieces, and you can crunch it to any shape you want, and it can, like, it might do the duty of 2 pillows. I don't know.
Oh.
If you come across that one, maybe you want to grab it and try it.
Yeah, I try to always set it up where I can just completely relax and my head's still like perfectly straight, like I'm
Good.
up, you know.
Good.
Kind of tuck it in on my neck, and
Me
I
too.
spend a lot of time trying to get it right, just because I know once I relax, I don't want my head to
just get into a kink. But then, you know, you have to move and change sides, and that messes everything up again because you're half asleep. You don't want to tuck it in right, you know?
Exactly. And I think a lot of that's going on. Or you decide to get up for whatever reason and you don't get all the way up and you fall back asleep like that, you know? And I think I heard my right shoulder. That's how I knew.
I have a 7-pound Yorkshire Terrier that occasionally sneaks in and joins me, and I don't want to kill him in the process of rolling over, you know? So
yeah,
I kind of wake up when I roll over, and then I have to go back into a sleep pattern, which is annoying. I'd rather not wake up at all.
Yeah, like when you have the baby sleeping with you. I've dealt with that before. So
sometimes I'll just, boom, hit another meditation if I've woken up too much in the middle of the night and just go to sleep to a lovely meditation like that one, like the abundance one.
Awesome. That's nice to know. That's wonderful. Yeah, I hit like 1 million watch minutes or something like that. I don't know if that's a month or
that's a milestone. 1 million. Holy moly.
My son notices all that stuff. I'm like, whatever. You know.
You're analytics man, right? He's keeping track.
Exactly. And he'll find the synchronicities. Look at all those ones, or you know, look at whatever. So yeah, it's great to have him around.
That is so cool.
Well, I guess
we did a long one tonight, didn't we? We did 1 hour and 25 minutes again.
Oh wow, it sure is. Yeah, it's gonna end right at 1:22. Looks like after the outro plays.
Okay.
It was a good one. Lots of love and light to everyone.
I love you guys. Yeah. Thanks for being here, and thanks for creating this amazing group. I can feel it. I can feel all your energy.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And definitely join us tomorrow for the birthday bash, and we will have a good time.
I would not miss it. I'm going to set my clock. I'll be there with my party hat on.
I need to get one. All right, well, I appreciate you coming on with me, Eileen.
Thanks, Shane.
All right, see you tomorrow. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Peace.